gathers. So my name is Steve Roses, and I am with HeinOnline. And HeinOnline, the Hein company, is based in Buffalo, as a lot of you know. I'm joined by my colleague, Tim Hooge.
Everyone.
And we are eager to show you this webinar on researching the history of criminal justice as well as capital punishment. Now, it's very exciting. A lot of you are, the vast majority of you are existing subscribers, many law schools, some law firms, and all of you have what we call a core collection, whether it be academic core or US core or something like that. So many of you are very familiar with researching in HeinOnline. But in today's webinar, we're going to focus in on criminal justice and criminology, which is a specific part of the core collection. And we also are going to talk about a featured additional database or an add-on called History of Capital Punishment. And we're going to show you how to research with them, and we're going to leave some time for some questions and answers. So try to think of some questions, or if you don't think of any questions during the time we have, you can certainly ask afterwards as well. So criminal justice and criminology is one of the many collections in the core, whether it be academic core or US core, what you get. This used to be called Criminal Justice in America, but we recently added a lot of criminology titles and sort of revamped it and changed the name to Criminal Justice and Criminology. And then we have this other collection, History of Capital Punishment, and we will be talking about both of these. So the Criminal Justice and Criminology collection, you should know that it sort of is a comprehensive approach to the whole subject of criminal justice and criminology. We've been working really hard to subject code our various documents on HeinOnline. We've basically come up with 16 major subject areas in the area of criminal justice and criminology, and we've tried to organize things accordingly so to make your user experience even more user-friendly. Of course, like other parts of HeinOnline, there are government documents, there are journals, books, other types of periodicals, and it's all integrated into one harmonious research experience. So this other collection, History of Capital Punishment, with which the majority of you do not get, this is an add-on collection. This kind of takes things to the next level. You have students and faculty members or people in your firm that are really interested in exploring the whole concept of capital punishment, the underlying arguments, the history surrounding it, people who might need bibliographic materials regarding the death penalty. So we have this sort of in a very easy to use collection called History of Capital Punishment. Now, sort of the heart of this collection is a book by Eugene Wenger and Marilyn Wenger called the Wenger Death Penalty Collection. And so we have this both available in print as well as in a digitized form, and you can choose just to get HeinOnline in digitized form. And then what we did is we added a whole bunch of full text linking, so you can go to the full text on many of the different parts of this book. And then a huge number of related publications, so you can really research in depth in the whole area of death penalty research. I should mention that Mr. Wenger was the winner of the Abolitionist of the Century Award. But that's not to say that we only cover anti-capital punishment arguments. By looking at this collection, you're able to explore both sides of the issue. And that is our approach in many different aspects of HeinOnline. If you're interested after getting a trial of the History of Capital Punishment collection, it's quite affordable. You can get 2 years of access to the History of Capital Punishment for $295. Oh, if I do hear some background noise, so if someone who isn't muted can be sure to mute the sound, that would be really cool. I hear background noise. And so there's an option for printed online for $395. That's with 2 years of access, or online only for $295. That's for 2 years of access. And then because we're constantly asked, well, we don't really have a budget for yearly subscription costs, but people sometimes have one-time money. we have been asked to have a perpetual access option. And so we made one available for this collection for $2,495, a one-time fee. You can always have access to History of Capital Punishment. And that includes the updates that we add. We tend to add updates to all our collections on at least a monthly basis. Some collections we add to on a daily basis, but generally on at least a monthly basis. And History of Capital Punishment is certainly one of the ones that we consistently add to. Okay, and by the way, the Criminal Justice Collection, that's part of your core collection, that also is being added to regularly. So without further ado, I do want to show you HeinOnline and specifically these different collections. So right now I'm going to stop this share and I'm going to go into here and I'm going to go into HeinOnline. Can everyone see my screen with HeinOnline here? You should notice some familiar databases, for example, the Law Journal Library. So when I research criminal justice, I recommend using a new feature. As you may know, we've subject coded many different aspects of HeinOnline. We've created a whole taxonomy. And if you were to go into the Law Journal Library, so let's open the Law Journal Library just to show you this quick new feature. Well, my mouse isn't effective at the moment. Let me try one more time and then I'll go into something else. Okay, well, for the moment, I'm going to go into, oh, there it is. So we're in Law Journal Library. Sorry about that little bit of delay. And we're going to go into the Pathfinder syntax. And we're going to look at a graphic representation of that. Okay, now this allows you to do research, especially if you have sort of a multidisciplinary approach to your research. Yes, you can go in and research specifically in law, but in this case, I want to do some research, not in the humanities, but specifically in the social sciences and specifically in criminal justice. So I'm going to open up criminal justice. And then you notice we have this subdivided into different aspects. For example, if you wanted to research organized crime, you would go here. If you wanted to research evidence here, law enforcement here, juveniles here, criminology here. So I'll click on organized crime just to show you this for a second. And now we're in some good results for the topic of organized crime. So this is just another feature, another tool that you can use to sort of get where you want to go in your research. Now I'm going to take you to the Criminal Justice Collection. So by the way, that Pathfinder feature, you find it in the Law Journal Library. And a quick note today, as of today, we now have over 3,000 journals in the Law Journal Library. As you know, we keep adding more and more journals. Well, we have over 3,000 now, which we've been working towards, and we're just going to keep adding more and more to it. So let's go into this Criminal Justice and Criminology collection. And here you have a description of what's in here. This is part of your core collection. And notice there are over 3 million pages worth of material, over 2,700 titles, over 7,000, almost close to 8,000 pages. If you needed a list of what's in here, you could get a CSV file or an Excel file. Let's open up the Criminal Justice and Criminology collection. And you see you could search this by all titles. You could research it by the many criminal justice and criminology periodicals we have in HeinOnline. You could research this by the many criminal justice books we have in the Criminal Justice Collection. We have DOJ publications dealing specifically with criminal justice and criminal justice reform. We have congressional hearings dealing with full text, fully searchable, congressional hearings dealing with criminal justice and criminal justice reform, Congressional Research Service reports dealing with criminal justice, GAO reports, and additional resources. We always add additional resources because we want you to find the most You can on a given subject, and often there are external resources that are very helpful as well. So if we were doing a search here in the Criminal Justice and Criminology collection, I'm going to do a search for, let's say, death penalty and critical race theory. Now we're going to put that in quotes because we have a specific term here. Of course, you can do Boolean type searching on HeinOnline as well because our algorithm is quite sensitive, but I was originally trained on this, so that's how I tend to do searching for results. Now you can see on the topic of death penalty and critical race theory, specifically in the criminal justice collection, we have these results. Now let's see what we have here. And we might want to put this in newest first order. We can put it in relevance order. We can put it in oldest first, newest first, etc. But here we have something that's very interesting. This is a winter 2021 article on unshackling plea bargaining from racial bias. And this is going to explore not only the issue of death penalty, but in general, the sort of the unequal approach to, in this case, plea bargaining to as far as race. And we have this article by Elaine Greenberg. Now, just to go over some of the quick features for you when looking at this, of course, you can download here, you can print, you can email this in a variety of formats, whether it be Blue Book, whether it be Chicago School. I'm sure you're familiar with most of these features. If you want a permalink to this article, of course, you would go here. Now, some of you may not be familiar with this more like this feature, which is very helpful, especially in criminal justice. Let me click here. And we're going to use this more like this. And basically, that's an algorithm that allows you to fine tune your results. And so notice it picked up some key terms here: plea bargaining, male defendants, African-American, racial bias, plea, and ran the search. And you can boost these in different ways. You can keep this going. You can add a term. For example, if I wanted to put in the term critical race theory or some other term or Eighth Amendment or something like this, I could add a whole new phrase and come up with all new results. So that is a very useful thing if you don't want to do another query search and you want to go right to sort of more like this search, to use an algorithm to find things that are similar to what you already found. And then you can boost it accordingly. Also, I'll show you an advanced feature of the Criminal Justice and Criminology collection. And most of the different collections have this advanced search option. And you can see we can do a search here with proximity and subject and creator and author. But I like to do a Venn diagram search. I don't know if all of you have done that. Some of you may not be familiar with this feature. We've only had it for about a year. And now I'm going to do an altogether different criminal justice topic. I'm going to put RICO Act. And I have to say that I'm looking forward to this Sopranos sequel. So I have this topic on my mind. So I had to put in a sample based on that upcoming prequel series. So it goes RICO Act and Mafia. And now we're going to search that specifically in the Criminal Justice and Criminology collection. You could broaden this to be it all the different collections, but here we are. I'm just skewing it within the Criminal Justice and Criminology collection. Okay, now this is really a very effective visual learning tool, especially for any of your, if you're with an academic institution, any of your faculty that are sort of visual learners. These Venn diagrams show you sort of where the data is. So here's where the term mafia is. And notice there are 2,863 results in the criminal justice collection. Here is the term RICO Act, only 209 results. And then here, this red area is overlap, only 66 results that have both of these terms. And this is going to take you to highly relevant material on this topic. So if we wanted to look at this racketeer influenced and corrupt organizations from American Criminal Law Review from summer 2021, let's open that up and look at it. Okay, now all of you must know this feature. If you needed to cite this article, You can go here and you can cite this article in a variety of formats. And of course, we work with RefWorks, EndNote, Zotero, and Noodle tools. So there is a lot of different software. There are a lot of different software applications for citations that we work with. Now, we have a LibGuide to many different collections in HeinOnline. You may not know this, but we even have a LibGuide to the criminal justice collection within the core collection. So if we wanted to see the LibGuide to this, we would just click here. And by the way, as a subscriber, you're welcome to use any of our LibGuides. And why is it valuable to have these LibGuides? Well, we give you search tips. We give you suggestions. Often some of these collections have in their LibGuide have videos. We give you related blog post links and additional resources, help resources. Speaking of blog posts, if I were to link here and I wanted to see some of the blog posts that we have on criminal justice related issues, it takes you right to some of these free articles which show you how to research. In this case, researching facts about police brutality and racial disparity. And you can go right to an article on that, and it talks about George Floyd, and you could research that in HeinOnline using what you learned from this blog. Okay, now I'm going to take you to our History of Capital Punishment collection, which is the add-on collection, because it is very valuable as well. And by the way, you can link here under the I, and it'll tell you what's in the given collection. Notice 336,000 pages worth of material. And because we keep adding to that every month, that's just going to keep expanding. And sort of the heart of this collection is this Eugene Wenger and Marilyn Wenger death penalty collection. And this allows you to research by text, creator, author, bibliographic card, and it's organized like such. So Mr. Wenger has put together books, pamphlets, and important ephemera dealing with the topic of death penalty. He has his files on the death penalty. There's electronic media information on the death penalty, graphics inventory, and an artifacts inventory. This is sort of a living museum, if you will, to the topic of death penalty. If you're having any kind of discussion in your school or in your firm where you really want to explore the topic of the death penalty, this collection is going to drastically help you. And now if we go to all titles, this is how you would browse all titles right here. So you just click on all titles. Now you can browse that, and you can browse by author, date, and subject. If you want to browse what periodicals we have that deal with the topic of capital punishment with death penalty, you would go here into the periodicals. Now, because we think it's really relevant to show you some key trials that have dealt with the death penalty, both from a historic and current standpoint, we've put together some select trials that you can actually access. And you can go through those trials, full text, and you can see sort of the underlying arguments of how capital punishment was upheld or not upheld. And not only do we have US materials and current US materials, and does it go back, but also in some cases we have British materials. And as you see here, we even have, go back to the Bastille Day, the French history, going back there for a little bit of the French day on capital punishment as well. Of course, we have congressional hearings dealing with this topic. We have other related works, and we have additional bibliographies. So I'm going to take you back here. And you see we have this Venn diagram search option even for the History of Capital Punishment collection. And I'm going to put in, continuing my theme where I was researching critical race theory, I'm going to put in inmate. I'm putting that asterisk because I want to include things like inmates, etc. I'm going to put race. We could do this with 3 terms, but I'm going to make it simple. And I'm going to do this Venn diagram search with 2 terms. And if it takes too long, I'm going to switch to something else. Let's give it a few more seconds. Let me add that this is a product of the slowness of my home internet and in no way reflects HeinOnline speed, which is quite fast. But because my internet speed tends to go ebb and flow, this is taking a little longer than I would have liked. So I'm going to give it 15 more seconds, and then I'm going to switch to something else. You already saw that feature Venn diagram before, and how useful it can be to show the overlap in terms, etc. And it's just one of our many visual learning tools that we've added to make the HeinOnline research experience even better. Okay, I'm going to switch on to something else because that is hung up a little bit. And I'm going to show you, I don't know if any of you, I know many of you have set up their own My Hein profile. Every individual user who subscribes can set up their own My Hein profile. And that allows you to save your own queries, to save documents, whether it be books, articles, government documents, to rerun your queries, to get table of contents alerts. You can create a username and password. You don't have to do this, but this is a bookmarking tool that gives even more value to your HeinOnline research experience. And that's really what we're about, making your research experience even more valuable. So definitely consider setting that up for yourself because it can make your organization even more effective when researching on HeinOnline. If you want to find out what's new on HeinOnline at any time, for example, what features and enhancements have we added? For example, when we added the Pathfinder feature or when we added the Venn diagram feature, definitely go to what's new and see our enhancements. Of course, new content, what journals have we added? What journals regarding criminal justice have we added just in the last month? And you can find out what books and government documents we've added as well. And you can actually get a full monthly content release, and you can save it as an Excel file. So you have that. Now, something that's very valuable, especially if you're in the United States, right here, live chat us Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 6, United States or Canada, I should say, anywhere in North America. You can actually use this abroad, but from a time zone standpoint, 8:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, Eastern time, you can live chat us and we'll help you with your searches. We also love feedback, positive and negative. So some of our greatest innovations have come from positive and negative feedback. So definitely share some of that if you have ideas. We're a small enough company that we can put your ideas right to work. This is where you go for all our LibGuides. So not just the criminal justice and the history of capital punishment LibGuide, any LibGuide you want, use on your website. You're welcome to go to our LibGuides here. We have a whole knowledge base where you can get videos and other information. You're also welcome to Google HeinOnline and YouTube. We have a whole YouTube channel with amazing resources, including resources dealing with criminal justice. And this is where you go for our blog. I recommend all of you subscribe to our free blog because we're always doing so many different articles on, and we try to keep it relevant, but we also have a historical standpoint view as well. Gives you so much good material that we have going as far as what we put in the blog. Even we have a whole series in the blog, the serial set. And so that in itself is worth going to the blog for as well. And of course, as I already showed you, we have lots of wonderful articles in the blog dealing with criminal justice. If you need our user guide, you can go right here. If you want to learn about our privacy policy, you can go there. And so that's really the main thing that I wanted to cover. I will type my email right here once again, so you have it if you have any questions. And then Tim's email address is right here. So take a look at that. And I'm going to see, I think we have a chat right here that maybe Tim has been answering, but let me see if there are any fresh questions that I can help answer. Yes, many of the collections have the Venn diagram feature. Yes, I think I just showed it to you in the history of capital punishment. It's in the criminal justice collection, it's in the law journal library, but lots of legal classics and what have you. So it just keeps going on and on because it's such a valuable feature in pinpointing what you're looking for. The criminal justice database has not so famous criminals in it. I don't fully understand that question. Yes, there are famous criminals, I would imagine, and non-famous criminals. So both types. Oh, the blog. So if you want to go to our blog, you just go up into help and you go to HeinOnline blog. And you can see our latest articles. But if you go to our LibGuides, then you can go right from the LibGuide to the blog articles on a specific topic. All of the different blog articles are coded with specific topics. So we want you to be able to find the exact material that you're looking for. Here, you'll notice in this blog article, which just came out, we have surpassed 3,000 journals. We're quite proud of that. Here's an article on Banned Books Week, Protecting the Right to Read. Here's an article about history of America's favorite government agency. So as you can see, it's not just criminal justice, many different collections, many different aspects. Here's a tip of the week in using our Slavery in America and the World collection. And by the way, I should tell you, if you have specific, if there's a topic we haven't done a blog article on yet, we're always interested in getting recommendations and topics for blog articles and showing not just you, but other people in your institution, other people in your firm, other people you know, how to use HeinOnline to find and uncover that information. So do not hesitate to send us those kinds of questions and ideas. So does anyone have any additional questions or anything I have not asked? We have 3 more minutes, and if we don't have time now, I'd be happy to answer anything offline that you may have. And don't forget, you can just ask for a trial of History of Capital Punishment. Even if you're only semi-interested and you just want to see what's there, definitely you can ask us for a trial of it and we can set that up. We'd love you to look at it in depth, and maybe you'll decide to add it because it really is pretty inexpensive and pretty worthwhile in terms of the content, especially if you have an interest in capital punishment. So we have a couple more minutes. Does anyone have any questions? I'll just scroll down in the chats. Yes, to make the screen bigger, you can go up to here, for example, and I could make the screen bigger right up here. So you can see the font size is bigger. Okay, well, thank you so much. Like I said, if you have any questions that have not been answered, please, by all means, email it to us. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to attend this, and really quite proud. I think we have so many states represented from all parts of the US and some abroad. So we are really appreciative of your time, and definitely let us know. And if you do get a trial of History of Capital Punishment and you have questions at that time, we'd be happy to give you an overview demo or to answer any questions you have. So with all that said, thanks again for your time, and we will talk to you soon for the next monthly demo, which will be our next webinar, will probably be next month. So thank you so much. Talk to you soon.